Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Broken Theory. Today we got the homie MAHL. What's going on, bro?
What's up, my friends? What's up,
How
my
you
family?
doing? Appreciate you, man. I
Excellent.
just wanted to
Glad to
have
be
you
here.
on. Yeah, I just wanted to have you on the show, man, to talk about like where you got started with music and where you're at right now.
Well, thanks for having me. First and foremost, I just want to thank. It's a lot of touchy subject for a lot of us punks out here. But I just want to start by thanking, Spirit, Source, God,
Amen.
first and foremost, and my family. Yaz, my wife, and my little girl El Ray. Without them, I wouldn't be here. So, let's just want to give that love first off.
Amen. I'm blessed to hear that, man, because a lot of people, they don't believe in something greater than themselves. They think, it's down to like science and all of that stuff. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion, man. But, I personally believe in Jesus Christ, and there's a greater power other than just us. Somebody put us here for a greater purpose. You know what I mean? Than just like
Man. I mean, I say it too. Like Kali is Jesus, is you, is me.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we can get connected with that source, we have that energy inside of us, and that's what this whole album was kind of me having to work with this sort of energy now and bring it out and share it with everybody. So
Word. So where did you get started, man? Where did this love for music start at?
My love for music has has always been here.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was a little kid. It was like my mom taking care of me and my two sisters, and I mean, she was like, just kind of one of those moms where like, always dieting, like always buying cookies, always dieting. But for that, she would like love sweating to the oldies. So it was like, as a kid, I was like, my earliest, like 3 years old, earliest memories of music and just getting love was like dancing in the streets with like Richard Simmons and my mom jumping around the house.
Right.
And so that got me like also like linked with music as well as like dance. Like music wasn't just like something, it was like all matched up into all these feelings,
Got you.
And like with my mom like using it for like her dieting or whatever to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I was also brought into like music as a way to like heal, yourself or make yourself better.
Amen.
So that was probably like my earliest influences. And then because of my family life, the setup was my sister just kind of like was the one growing up in Dorchester, Massachusetts, a really segregated, divided place, especially back then.
Mm-hmm.
Irish Catholic on one side of the street, black on the other side of the street,
Mm-hmm.
And having the whole like, systematic racism of Boston influence growing up. So it was just basically been about, we're not racist, but like, we stick with our own,
Mm-hmm.
So growing up as a kid, that was very confusing. Having a park right there, which was like I couldn't play at. Very, very confusing stuff. So like musically, that those borders and boundaries didn't really like exist. So like we were out in the street dancing to like crisscross, putting our pants backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Marky Mark was like a huge influence as like a little boy because he was from Dorchester. I would walk down the street and like see him and Donnie at the corner store mart, out front drinking 40s and stuff as a little boy.
That's
so my sister had that like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston thing, love going on. And so it was something that we kept kind of secret to our own to like playing out in the street, which was like kind of what we were taught to do. So
got you. So like just listening in, you were basically kind of hearing this music and kind of like in secret Like, you weren't able to bring it to your family, the music that you were listening to, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, it was like we brought it, like we'd dance them and they'd just be like, no, no, that stuff stays outside, basically. Like
Got you,
that's
got you.
play that stays outside. So in our mind, like, starting to grow up, and like my sister kept that influence going on, like going hard in high school with like DMX and Tupac and Biggie, and like really bringing it, you know, and just it became this thing that like in the family we moved out of the city, we moved to the suburbs, and all the tension like didn't dissolve, like it only grew.
Yeah.
Until like it was kind of either like just like love or lost, for me not ever being wanted to be this like super aggressive person, in all this aggression and like tension, like I just went certain ways, to like guitar and rock, which led me to like inevitably led me to like bands like Rage Against the Machine.
I love that.
And even like as cheesy as it is, like bands like Korn and like Limp Bizkit, what they were doing, just like resonated with like this idea that I've always had to like, bring the two together. But Zach De La Roca just really, hit me in because of growing up seeing all these racial tensions behind like, my one true passion here.
Yeah.
Which like kept me to my room, which like kept me to like the streets, which kept me locked inside, until I met like punk, which like just were like, get out here, start banging around, like who cares,
So like going from listening to what you would say as hip hop then to punk, how was that transition for you?
Very powerful, man. Because once again, like, I've tried a lot of different types of music. Like I've tried making pop songs, like cheesy acoustic guitar, love songs for girls, and basically, gotten into like house music in the late 90s. With all like the underground scene that was going on, just like my love of music's brought me all over the place.
Yeah.
And but once again, it's a place you can feel real lost, especially when like it's like you love it all, like that's people don't see loyalty in you when you want to like, I don't know, go to some house dance party after like a metal show or something like that.
So, I mean, like those type of people don't really have your best interest, I would say. You know what I mean? Trying to box you in.
Yeah.
And like you have to like this, or you're crazy for liking this, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like once you start understanding that like true, I guess you could say true support is unjudgmental. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel that.
It does. I don't care if you are an EDM DJ and you rap good. You rap good. Like it doesn't matter where you come from, how you grew up, anything like that. You know what I mean? So like, just hearing everybody's story is very different for me. You know what I mean? Because I hear like a lot of people's stories, and yours was one that stood out to me, man. So I was just very curious to hear, you know what I mean, the backstories of like getting started to rap. Like, so from you going into punk, how did you get back to rap?
Well, like before I hit like rock bottom, like because like I was saying that like hit me finding like punk, like my punk friends and everything were like, they literally like picked me up out of the gutter, once again, like punk and hip hop have been these two things that have like brought me back on this path of just like love for like who I am, and like connected to something greater than myself, whether it's like a fight against injustice or it's just like a fight against myself. the punk stuff was pretty powerful because I'd spent a lot of time like with like playing West African music, getting into like djembe, going to like music festivals, hanging with hippies, you know, eating acid, going full blown, like just like getting into music like so late into the evening, as long as possible. And that just led me down like a real dark road of excess. And when I thought like was looking for abundance, you know, that's what we always look for, abundance in other things, you know. Absolutely. And you can even look for abundance in like our own music, you know. And get too attached to it, even that, and then like lose inspiration. So the punk stuff was like, you know, it's a bad time in my life when I really needed people, and there was like people just like, well, man, you know, like my friends here in Boston, just like, you know, that saved my life, you know. So I kept going, moved out to California when I met my wife, and really I always lived a dream, you know. I was like back on the path. Here we go, just like couple dollars in my pocket, you know, and the love of my life went after, you know, and kept it going. She was moving out there with some friends, and I said, I'm coming, you know. She asked me, I said, let's do this, you know. And we ended up living by the beach, playing and making punk bands, building a huge scene, huge community out in San Diego, Ocean Beach, California. All my homies out there, what's up, much love. Yeah, it was like, you know, living out there, about to have a kid, deciding we want to move on from just making bands and playing together, do something deeper together as a couple. Like we got to go home, and you know, coming home brought with a lot of different stuff we realized we hadn't dealt with in life, you know, and all that stuff's coming up. So during that process, of leaving California and coming here, I had like digestive failure. When like, even despite the fact that we were like about to have a child, like we were trying to get pregnant, having a hard time, like the baby came, and man, it just like rocked my world. You know what I mean? Like digestive failure, like my whole system shut down.
No, I feel it.
And and that just brought the help of something larger than myself, you know, something that I had never met, you know. And all of a sudden this energy's now in me, and I'm supposed to like wrap my head around what's going on with me. And that just like, you know, will be an ongoing task for the rest of my life. So what I've realized, it's just up to me to now integrate this energy and be able to use it as a source of inspiration and love for everyone that I meet.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people that are, we'll just say the chosen ones, you know what I mean? They have some of the roughest paths, you know what I mean? Because they have to have certain things and principles instilled into them, you know what I mean, to where that they can be understanding and understand the point of views and the way that other people that they have to reach look at the world, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man, I know you feel that, Tara, you know. Definitely. I mean, I know you do, because like, you know, there's certain energy you can feel once you have this stuff going on, and like you and it goes, and I feel like we understand that, like, you know, these social media and these ways we connect, like we can really can bring this out, connect with people. You realize that we are just frequencies. And we can just like latch on and have like a bang and open mic night together and stuff, you know what I mean?
You know, it's something as simple as like, you know, just good intention, you know, down to like a social media post. Let's just use that as an example, right?
Right.
You know, my social media post got you, right? And then you experience the open mic, and it's just like a chain reaction. And now you're gonna meet all these other producers, artists, and stuff later down the line. But it just goes from like just having good intentions from that one action. And it's the same thing with you as well. You know what I mean? Like anything you do, you know, you put out, you have good intentions with it, good things follow. You know what I mean? And it's just the way that the world works. When you started, yeah, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, I feel like too, it's like there's so many doors we have to like open that lead to, say, like me meeting you, for instance. You know,
Yep.
And even getting to the point where that open mic night, you know, even becomes a reality.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like part of like the key to like opening those doors is like is the vision, like you speak about, you know.
Yep.
And that's why I really dig, like, you know, they say like reading positive images can like either reading too many of them, you know, should I say, like it can either negatively affect your brain or positively affect it.
Yep.
But if like you're healing and you're trying to like bring more love into your life,
Yep.
and share that with your family, with your friends, with yourself.
Yep.
You like mostly should be just for yourself, you know.
Yep. Absolutely.
Then like, you know, you gotta open yourself up to letting go of the things that really stick behind the vision, you know.
Yep.
Because, and I say behind the vision because you have your vision in front of you, but then you have this doubt, this fear that comes after the vision, because like you wouldn't have those doubts of fear unless you had the vision first.
Yep.
So like that's kind of what I translate a lot from what you're putting down with your positive messaging.
Oh yeah.
Is that your positive messaging is up front so that you leave it up to us to have that next feeling or not.
Yep.
And
it's really like a reflection, you know what I mean? Like, because some people view it as like, you know, I'm not even gonna lie, like a lot of the people that like before I started even trying to grow a community knew me, they look at me as like, who does this guy think he is, type thing. But the people that I've met through what I'm trying to do and doing these things and just positively trying to help people out and just provide some type of insight, they love it. They're happy that I even do it, and that's why I keep doing it. You know what I mean? And it just all started just off of God. God put that in my head for me to just start trying to uplift people. You know what I mean? Because I never had nobody there to be like, you know, pouring into me. So it was like, I know it's a very necessary thing that, especially as an independent artist, man, you don't always have people there, you know? People are telling you, go chase after something else, go start a business, go get a job, all this other stuff. And it's like, this is my job, this is what I do, you know, this is my passion. You know, if I don't do this, I'm gonna live with regret. And it's like, you gotta follow those dreams. Even if you have a 9-to-5 in the middle of it, or you're building a business in the middle of it, you know, if you could just dedicate 1 hour a day to yourself and your craft, you're gonna be all right. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah. I can say that honestly. Like I have a business, like a handyman gardening business. When we got back here from California, it was during COVID. Kid was coming, and I was like, I needed to use my skills, whatever I had, to start something, to bring something in. And it jumped up really quickly. You know, Boston has like a lot of this type of work needed, and like you know, people are happy to pay a good price and everything. So I was, you know, I was really bringing it in for like, you know, a few years, and saying like, you know, God works in mysterious ways. Like, you know, there's so many stories, like when you open these doors, you know, that come with these stories. That some you share, some like just for you, like straight up. And you get that feeling after that, what was that? And like, but like for me, this is something that like I really, it's part of like me releasing some generational something. It has to be to share this part. But like, you know, having like almost like $40,000 in the bank, you know, and being like, here comes my music, you know, setting up with my producer. And then within a matter of like 6 months time, with like no explanations, like just like bang, 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 one bill, something like that, the car, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I'm down to like ground zero area, you know what I mean? And it's like,
it's part of the process, bro.
and part of the process sometimes is like,
Mm-hmm.
I was linked and I realized learning, coming down and having to sit broke like that.
Yep.
Man, it brought up so much, you know what I mean? Like, it brought me back to like 3 years old and being like, I gotta help my parents get money.
Yep.
Like knowing that we were sick, like broke.
Yep.
And poor, and like going out there and collecting cans when I was like 4, my sister was 6, like 7, 8, you know, and being part of that gang of kids.
Yep.
All helping out and letting go of that stuff, man. Like that was pretty much what helped me. Like when I let go of that is when I found you.
Yep.
And
you know, God works in mysterious ways, man. You know, like
come into your life, you know, it's like someone, when they say like people will manifest, when they say people come into your life, you never know what that means, you know?
Yep.
But like,
but it's all a projection off of like your mental state of being like at that current moment. Cause you never know, bro. You can walk outside, right? And a millionaire walks in front of you and you have no idea that that dude is a millionaire. But if you treat them with kindness and stuff, that's when the doors start opening. Or it could be, you know, the reverse, you know, but money isn't happiness. You understand what I'm saying? So like, you could have $40,000 and it all go away and you're the happiest in the world, and doesn't matter. Your bills are paid, you know, your family's healthy, you know, there's other lessons in it, because had you had that $40,000 today, you might be doing something different with it. You understand?
Right.
So certain things are blessings in disguise, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know, I feel that like I'm very inspired by what you do.
I appreciate it, man.
And like it makes me inspired to like want to build like the MAHL brand. Because like at the moment I have it, I'm taking a more artistic approach because I'm having fun that way, and that's what's coming out of me. And like it's bringing these things back where I know I can relate to people on a larger scale.
That matters
on both sides of the scale, you know, because like where the music may resonate more with like one side or one group of people, like I feel like I want the visuals to have something that's kind of like for everyone. And that's been like this process of just working with what I got, which is really not much, which is like an iPhone 6 and just get creativity, you know?
Hey man, you know, that type of stuff, it's not gonna give you creativity. You could have the best camera in the world,
right,
and you not know how to use it, and you know what I mean. Like the whole thing, man, is just like starting. You know, you can have the iPhone 6 today, right? Yeah, and then tomorrow you can upgrade. You know,
right.
Something that you shot on your iPhone 6 could get you the attention of somebody major that wants to invest into your whole situation and what you're doing. Now you don't have to worry about, you know, iPhone 6 or anything like, you know what I mean? So it's like, just starting and letting people see what you're working with at all, and just be like, hey man, with or without, you know, the bag, this person has creativity. This person is gonna keep going. You know, he doesn't require anybody to babysit him in order to push the needle forward. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, and just like commenting on that a little bit, just I think is like important for us independent artists. Something I've learned like from working with punk bands out in Cali, from organizing benefit shows, from making a mixtape, from working with people, like something across the board that I think that a lot of us need to remember during this time, where it's like an exciting time where we finally can like sit on our friggin' couches and just make our dreams come true. Like have to remember that like there are levels to this, and like that gotta understand what people's levels are on. You gotta respect the level process, because for us talking right now, like we had this little incident before where like I couldn't get your T-shirt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it just got like sat with me. I was like, man, like I'm getting on the podcast. He's inviting me to this open mic. He's really introduced me to a lot. And I just like, I got to make this T-shirt happen, right? And because I got to give him something, you know, I got to get something from him because we're supporting, we're playing the game, you know, where I want to help him out. He helps me. Like this is part of the thing. I think that's a real important thing. Stopping at the merch table after every show.
Oh yeah.
And buying something to support the artist. You know, you like that show, go right to the merch table after, you know, and throw down.
Yep.
So like, it was weighing on me, and I said I gotta let that go. And as soon as I let that go, I get like, you know, my homies coming in saying we got this like GoFundMe, like we got this. I go, well, I'm gonna call up Barry right now, you know, and get that shirt, you know, in green.
That's love, man.
Pass that along, you know what I'm saying?
That's love, bro. That's love, man.
So, you know, this is what I'm saying. When every time you let go, you think, you know, you need something, you don't, and then you'll get it. You know, and then what happens? I'm wearing that T-shirt on my back, you know.
That's the way that the world works, man. But you know, for me, man, it wasn't really brought in a perspective to where I like take it personal when people don't support. You know what I mean? Because like, especially the way that the world is right now, you know what I mean? Like, it's like groceries are like 3 to 5 times more expensive than they ever were. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know people are struggling right now. So I don't take none of that shit personal, man. But like, for those that can, you know what I mean? That option is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never want to take it personal, but at the same time, like, I feel like I have that much respect for the level process because like, I've been at a punk show where like there's 3 merch tables lined up next to each other, and that's how we roll.
Yep.
Same level. But those 3 bands, the levels of those bands, you know, you could have a band that's been like touring for 30 years, are the legends, and they're still right there with you.
Yep.
But like, you know, there's just like respect you got to show.
Yep.
And I think like we got to remember that when we're like posting. We got to remember that. Like, it's like you just want to like throw like. We know how this works. We all know how this works now. It's like the like, comment, share. You know what I mean? Like we're all wise to this. You know.
Yep.
We know how this works. It is a game. It is working an algorithm for your homie. You know, it is bouncing them around the web, which is what they're trying to do to build their work. So like, you know, there should be more of that. Meaningful commentary, not just like, you know, just like throw up like, I try not to do it. If I don't have time or I'm like, I can't get something, I'll throw up, you know, some fire signs or whatever, but like,
all good,
and move on. But if you can spend some time, just like put a little more in there.
Yep.
Give people a little more something, you know, it helps us keep going.
Oh yeah.
And
algorithm is a real thing, man.
I see you out there doing that. I've learned a lot from you on that, and just the power of that respect. Right now, during this thing, I think a lot of people need to remember. I think you're doing an excellent job of doing that for people. Is reminding us that there is levels to this stuff, and to show that respect, because it's kind of hard to like, you know, say like, you know, throw up, you know, some shoulders or whatever, you know, throw some shoulders back, you know, online.
I feel it.
I do that, but like some people are good at navigating that. I think you're definitely, you know, definitely in the top tier one of that right now.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a lot of failing for me. A lot of like, I've been doing this since I was about 10 years old, just gradually just keep going and going and going. You know, I've had periods where I stopped and just like watched, you know what I mean? And just like watched how people move, watch what works, what doesn't, tried stuff on my own, you know what I mean? And, you know, I failed a lot, you know what I mean? I failed a lot for real.
Yeah, and I feel that.
But talk to me about how your average day is. What's an average day like for you, and how often do you make music?
Well, I actually described a full day on the album, and the last track is called Good Morning.
Okay.
Which is kind of an ode to this band Savende out of San Diego. Okay. This punk band that wrote the song Good Morning, and that song, man, you guys want to check that song out. That song was like a song that really brought me up from a real dark place. And after I lost my mom, which was like a, you know, one of the letting go of that was like one of the big things that started this whole process. So Um, but that's, in the song, I describe that, every day I wake up around like, it's like I try to get up around like 7. That's usually, I'd like to get up earlier, but that's usually because my night times are so late. But yeah, 7 o'clock up, and I do this whole like mouth like rinse thing because years of smoking, I'm trying to quit. Drugs, everything, trying to pull it helps. Like if you takes a while to get started, it's really gross,
I quit cold turkey, man, and
full of coconut oil.
Okay.
And you just like wash that around your mouth and let for like 20 minutes, and it pulls up everything, and you spit that out. So these I started with a lot of these like ancient practices,
Okay.
To keep like the energy balanced and healing, instead of like destructive and burning.
Yeah.
So after that, I'll do the Tibetan 5 rites.
Okay.
Followed by a mixture of like qigong practices and like body shake, kind of workout, and like horse stance. Incorporate my horse stance a lot in my videos. And then I'll do some like breath work, Tibetan 9 purification breaths, which is like another practice of just like clearing your energy lines, so bring on like health throughout the day. They're all like pretty powerful practices. The more you do them, they all take like 5-10 minutes, but you do them every day, they start really opening you up, man. Very powerful. Like I give full warning and don't like suggest people start doing these.
I got
come to the channel. I'll teach you myself, the ones that I'm putting out there, and other stuff I'm not gonna be afraid to share, but like you'll have to look into it, and I totally give full warning before starting these things.
See if it's right for you.
Can't just be like have people bringing up deep dark stuff when you're trying to work a full job, have a full family. You know what I mean? Sometimes like not everyone can just like jump into this full thing.
Yep.
And you start some of these practices, and like I tell us about even yoga, people are like not careful with yoga. And everyone thinks, I'll just do some yoga, but really yoga is what it is. It's a practice designed by yogis, and yogis had some far out stuff happen to them. So if you never know how sensitive you are, starting these like ancient practices. So I want to have a force in like education towards all that, to help balance people out, because we want to be working with these stuff. We want to be doing yoga. We want to be working our bodies and working with these energies, because they're awesome, and they bring the full side of us. But you got to be careful,
definitely.
Stay balanced. So yeah, I get that going on, and then it's all about getting my little girl out of the house. Most days my wife leaves early to go to work, take the bus to work. So I get the car, and it's about her getting her to school, setting her up with some breakfast, and then it's like kind of race back. And these days it's winter in Boston, so it's cold and it sucks outside. So it's been this awesome shift where like no one's been hitting me up for handyman work this winter, and I've been able to just like race home and like get music going and like get everything going and just like make beats. That's what I feel you in that morning. We like cooking those eggs, man. We're like waking up. It's like I heard one thing one time, like huge influence early, like Eminem was like his first album. I fell off on Eminem for like a little while, but like that first album really hit me when it first came out. But that was like a little too mainstream, and I was like more in like underground punk for most of like Eminem's like career, I feel like. So I don't like to comment too much on it, because I haven't spent too much time with it as I think I should to comment on it. But
no, I got you. We got less than a minute left, bro. If you could say something to yourself when you were first starting out, what would you say and why?
I would say, yeah, just do that. Yeah.
That's what you would say?
Yeah,
That's love.
yeah, what you wanted to do. Dancing around, music, playing music, yeah, just do that, you know?
Yep.
That's what I would say. And
It'll all
just
work out.
it'll all work out, man.